Hi there. What if the secret to happiness isn't hidden in grand achievements or distant dreams, but woven into the fabric of your daily life? Consider this. How often do you find yourself caught in the cycle of small anxieties, fleeting frustrations, and the nagging sense that something essential is missing? You wake up, go through the motions, and by the end of the day, wonder where the joy went. It's not that life is unbearable, but rather that it feels incomplete. The gap between what you expect from happiness and what you actually experience grows wider with each passing day. Happiness is often painted as an elusive destination, something we chase through external validation, material success, or future milestones. But what if that pursuit is part of the problem? What if true contentment doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment, but from actively shaping the present? This isn't about forced positivity or ignoring life's hardships. It's about recognizing that happiness is a skill, one that can be cultivated through intentional, meaningful habits. The 5 strategies we'll explore are not quick fixes or empty affirmations. They are grounded in science, psychology, and real-life experiences, tools designed to help you reclaim control over your emotional well-being. From the way you start your day to the thoughts you allow to take root in your mind, every choice plays a role in how you feel. Some of these methods may seem simple, even obvious, but their impact is profound when practiced consistently. Imagine waking up not with dread, but with a sense of purpose. Imagine moving through your day with clarity, resilience, and a quiet confidence in your ability to navigate life's ups and downs. These are not distant fantasies, they are achievable states of being. The journey begins with a single step, and that step starts here. Are you ready to take it? Number 1. Harnessing the power of breath. Let's begin with something so fundamental yet often overlooked, the act of breathing. Not just the involuntary rise and fall of your chest, but a conscious, deliberate engagement with your breath, a practice that has been proven to reduce stress, enhance focus, and even regulate emotions. Picture this: a young professional named Alex who spent years buried under deadlines, endless emails, and the constant hum of city life. Each morning, he would wake up already exhausted, his mind racing before his feet even touched the floor. He existed in a state of perpetual tension, unaware of how much his breathing patterns contributed to his anxiety. That is, until he stumbled upon a simple exercise: diaphragmatic breathing at sunrise. Each morning, Alex stepped outside to watch the sky shift from darkness to light. As the first golden rays stretched across the horizon, he inhaled deeply through his nose, filling his lungs completely, then exhaled slowly through pursed lips. Within days, he noticed a shift, not just in his mood, but in the way he approached his day. His mind felt clearer, his stress levels more manageable. Scientifically, this makes perfect sense. Deep, controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, signaling to the body that it is safe, calm, and in control. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and encourages the release of endorphins, the body's natural mood elevators. Number 2. Harnessing the power of sunlight. There's another element to this ritual, one that science continues to reinforce: the power of sunlight. When Alex stood outside, his body absorbed vitamin D, a nutrient crucial for brain health and emotional regulation. Studies have shown that sunlight exposure increases serotonin levels, a neurotransmitter directly linked to feelings of well-being and happiness. In fact, a deficiency in vitamin D has been correlated with higher rates of depression, anxiety, and seasonal affective disorder. By simply stepping outside for a few minutes each morning, Alex was not only resetting his nervous system, but also fueling his brain with the biochemical support it needed to thrive. This practice wasn't about escaping his problems or chasing some abstract ideal of happiness. It was about grounding himself in the present moment, reconnecting with his body, and giving his mind the space it needed to function optimally. And the results were undeniable. Over time, Alex found that he could approach challenges with greater resilience, make decisions with more clarity, and even find small moments of joy in the mundane. The simple act of breathing and basking in the morning light had become his anchor, a daily reminder that happiness doesn't always require grand gestures. It often begins with something as effortless as taking a deep breath and watching the sunrise. Number 3. The hidden burden of clutter. Imagine waking up each morning to a space that feels chaotic, disorganized, and overwhelming. Your desk is buried under stacks of paper, your closet overflows with clothes you no longer wear, and the corners of your room are filled with forgotten items, gifts you never used, gadgets that stopped working years ago, and remnants of past projects left unfinished. This isn't just an aesthetic issue, it's a psychological one. Clutter doesn't just take up physical space, it consumes mental space, clouding your thoughts, increasing stress, and subtly shaping your emotional state. Take the case of Sarah, a freelance designer who prided herself on her creativity. She worked from home, surrounded by inspiration, books, art supplies, sketches pinned to the walls, but over time, the very things that once fueled her passion became a source of anxiety. Her workspace, once a sanctuary, had turned into a maze of half-finished ideas, scattered tools, and digital files buried under layers of disorganization. She found herself procrastinating more, struggling to focus, and feeling a persistent sense of unease. It wasn't until she decided to declutter, sorting, donating, and discarding the unnecessary, that she noticed a profound shift. Without the visual and mental burden of clutter, her mind felt lighter. She was more productive, more inspired, and most importantly, more at peace. The connection between clutter and mental well-being is backed by science. A study conducted by researchers at the University of California found that excessive clutter can trigger the release of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. When our surroundings are disordered, our brains work overtime trying to process the visual chaos, leading to increased anxiety and cognitive fatigue. Additionally, clutter can create a sense of stagnation, making it harder to move forward in life. When we hold on to objects out of habit or sentimentality, we unconsciously tether ourselves to the past, preventing us from embracing new possibilities. By cleansing your environment, removing the unnecessary, organizing the essential, and creating space for what truly matters, you give yourself the mental clarity to think more clearly, make better decisions, and cultivate a sense of control over your life. It's not about perfection or minimalism, it's about intentionality. Each time you let go of something that no longer serves you, you free up space, not just in your home, but in your mind. And in that space, happiness can begin to flourish. Number 4. The toxic influence of social comparison. Mia had always considered herself a confident person until she opened Instagram. Every morning before she even got out of bed, she scrolled through a stream of curated perfection. Friends vacationing in tropical destinations, influencers flaunting designer wardrobes, colleagues celebrating promotions and milestones. At first, it seemed harmless, a quick way to catch up with the world. But over time, something shifted. She began to feel inadequate, as if her own life paled in comparison to the highlight reels of others. The more she compared herself to the seemingly flawless lives around her, the more she questioned her own worth. This phenomenon, known as social comparison, is one of the most insidious effects of social media. Psychologists have long studied how people measure their own success, happiness, and self-esteem against those of others. In the past, these comparisons were limited to people in our immediate circles, friends, colleagues, neighbors. But social media has expanded that circle exponentially, exposing us to thousands of lives that appear more exciting, more successful, and more fulfilling than our own. The result? A constant subconscious battle for self-worth that leaves many feeling dissatisfied and disconnected. The problem lies in the nature of social media itself. It is designed to be addictive, leveraging algorithms that feed users content tailored to evoke emotional responses. Scrolling through endless images of idealized lifestyles creates a distorted perception of reality, making it easy to believe that everyone else is thriving while you are merely surviving. This can trigger a cycle of self-doubt, where the more time you spend online, the worse you feel about yourself. The brain begins to equate external validation, likes, comments, shares, with self-worth, reinforcing the idea that happiness is something to be earned through recognition rather than experienced internally. Breaking free from this cycle requires a conscious effort to reclaim control over your time and attention. Research has shown that reducing social media usage significantly improves well-being. A study published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that limiting social media to 30 minutes a day resulted in substantial decreases in loneliness and depression. The key is not just to cut back, but to replace the habit with something that fosters genuine fulfillment, whether it's engaging in a hobby, spending time with loved ones, or simply allowing yourself moments of stillness without the constant noise of comparison. For Mia, the realization came when she decided to take a week-long break from social media. At first, she felt restless, almost anxious, as if she was missing out on something important. But as the days passed, she noticed a shift. Without the constant stream of comparisons clouding her thoughts, she felt lighter, more present. She rediscovered activities she had neglected, painting, hiking, reading, and found joy in the simplicity of her own life. When she finally returned to social media, she did so with intention, limiting her time and curating her feed to include only content that genuinely inspired or uplifted her. The change was subtle, but powerful. She no longer measured her happiness against the lives of others because she had learned to appreciate the richness of her own. The motivating force of anticipation. There is a unique kind of joy that comes not from the experience itself, but from the expectation of it. Anticipation, the act of looking forward to something, can be a powerful driver of happiness. It transforms mundane tasks into stepping stones towards something meaningful, infusing everyday life with a sense of purpose. This isn't just a philosophical idea, it's rooted in neuroscience. When we anticipate a future event, our brains release dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and motivation. Unlike the fleeting euphoria of instant gratification, anticipation builds momentum, creating a sustained sense of excitement that can carry us through even the most monotonous routines. Consider the case of Daniel, a software developer who had fallen into a predictable cycle of work, stress, and exhaustion. His days blurred together, each one indistinguishable from the last. He wasn't unhappy exactly, but he felt adrift, lacking the sense of direction that once made his life feel meaningful. Then, he decided to plan a weekend camping trip with a group of friends. The adventure itself was still weeks away, yet the moment he made the arrangements, something changed. Suddenly, his days had a new rhythm. He found himself working with more energy, sleeping better at night, and even approaching small tasks with renewed focus. The mere knowledge that something exciting awaited him created a ripple effect, lifting his mood and giving him something to look forward to. This illustrates a fundamental truth about human psychology. We thrive on structure and purpose. Without clear goals or something to anticipate, life can feel aimless, even when we have everything we need. The modern world, with its endless distractions and immediate access to entertainment, has conditioned many to seek instant satisfaction. But research shows that delayed gratification, knowing that a reward is coming, can be far more satisfying. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who looked forward to an upcoming event experienced higher levels of happiness in the days leading up to it than those who simply enjoyed the event itself. The act of anticipation, it turns out, is a happiness booster in its own right. This principle applies beyond grand adventures or special occasions. It can be harnessed in everyday life through small, intentional plans, whether it's scheduling a weekly coffee date with a friend, planning a creative project, or setting aside time for a hobby you love. The key is to create moments of anticipation that align with your values and interests. When you have something meaningful on the horizon, each day becomes part of a larger narrative, transforming the mundane into a stepping stone towards something greater. And in that transformation, happiness finds a home. Thank you for watching. Do well to click like, share, and subscribe for more insightful topics. See you next time. Bye.